Alright, yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski. I just woke up, and most of you guys might know me, but if you don't, I'm essentially a PokeMMO shiny hunter. That means I shiny hunt within PokeMMO, which is a Pokemon MMO with a shiny rate of 1 out of 30,000. Now, this game historically has Gen 1 through 5 Pokemon, at least at the moment. We're going to be going through a little bit of the tier list, ranking all of these Pokemon. I have a couple of these Pokemon. I believe I have around 23 OT shinies at the moment. Thousands of hours of shiny hunting experience. I know, very cool. It gets me lots of the ladies. Now we're gonna go ahead and jump into this incredible tier list. Pog, I am pogging is the top rank. Very cringe Twitch tier list right here. Poggers, Pog, Pog-ish, less Pog, and Dan's Game is not a very good shiny. I don't think many Pokemon I'll end up putting in Dan's Game. Something I've talked about before, and something I feel, is that the more time you spend with Pokemon, the more time you spend with a Pokemon, the more you tend to find a reason to like it. So I actually feel like the longer you play, the less Pokemon you usually dislike. Except for Scizor. Fuck that Pokemon. It's a terrible Pokemon. Let's go ahead and jump into it with Shiny Bulbasaur. I think Shiny Bulbasaur and pretty much all of the starters are going to be pretty decent. I mean, they're never going to be super high for me. People love Charizard. I'm not a huge Charizard guy. It's going to suck, but I'm probably going to put the whole line in Pogish, surprisingly. Maybe Bulbasaur goes in Pog. I think that's the little simplicity of it with the green bulb is nice. Charmander, I think could even go less Pog for me. I really am not a huge fan of Charmander. However, the in-game Charmander sprite is nice. I think Charizard, even though I'm not a huge Charizard fan at all, I'll be the first guy to like meme on Charizard and say it gets too much attention, yada yada. But hard to deny. Shiny Charizard's a good shiny. Let's go ahead and keep going. Squirtle. We have a lot of Pokemon to get through today, so I'll try to get through things in a decent manner. Squirtle is my favorite of these couple. We'll do that there. Even Wartortle, I think, is up there. And then even though Blastoise is not quite on the same tier, as Charizard, I think it's the one that I would go for if I were to go for any shiny starters in Pokemon, at least for a shiny Kanto starter. I'd probably go for something like Sceptile or Trico or maybe even Emboar, something like that. But Caterpie, underrated shiny, still pretty good. Man, I have to be really harsh because I have to save these top two tiers for, you know, the best of the best. I gotta save the top tiers for those good picks. Metapod is Charizard level. It's a sick shiny. That orange we don't see very often. It's a very unique, niche, rare type of color and type of shiny that we don't really see. Butterfree, same tier here. Weedle, pretty much here. Kakuna, I think, is once again alongside the same, maybe even here. Pog. Kakuna being same tier as like Bulbasaur is hilarious. Obviously, this is not like value or rarity. This is just like my personal perception of their looks. I'm just rating them on their looks. If that wasn't entirely absolutely clear, we'll put Kakuna there for now. Beedrill, actually, nah, Beedrill's probably, let's move him up here and Beedrill there. There we go. Kakuna, Pog, Beedrill, Pogish. I think that's fair. Pidgey, little bit of nostalgia for me, because it was one of the most common shinies forever. I'm going to put it in less Pog. Pidgeotto and Pidgeot, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. I don't like bird Pokemon in general. I don't like boring Pokemon in general, or Pokemon that could exist in the real world. Pokemon based off of dogs, cats, birds, kind of like boring stuff. It's not for me personally. I like the fantastical elements of Pokemon and how it can kind of... Actually, I'm going to put the Raticate at Pogish, which is hilarious. Same level as Ivysaur. And Raticate at less Pog. Raticate could arguably go down to Dan's Game as well, but I think it's honestly a decent shiny. It's just common, is my arguments for it. Spearow and Fearow, I could understand someone liking these. I just don't. Definitely just my personal opinion there. I know it's a harsh opinion. Even Ekans. Ekans is not a great shiny, but Arbok... Arbok's a nice shiny. Arbok does not get enough love for its shiny form for sure. Ekans, I'm going to put in like... Look at that jump. Ekans being less Pog versus Arbok being... That's the craziest jump between evolutions we've seen so far. Pikachu and Raichu. I'm not a fan. I'm really not a fan of these two. I think they both go in less Pog. Really not super interested. Sandshrew will put in Pogish, an underrated one to keep it as, but Sand Slash actually gets the first Pog I am pogging rating. Incredible shiny. My first shiny in any Pokemon game ever. I still don't have it in PokeMMO. Maybe I should actually prioritize it and go for it faster. But it's just a really meaningful shiny to me. And how could you not love those bright red like shards? The stone shards on its back. Very, very cool. Nidoran female. Honestly, underrated. Still gonna put it in. I'll put Nidoran female in Poggish. Nidoran. Actually, these should probably be switched. I'm not sure. We'll do these down. Actually, these both go here. Nido Queen will go in Poggish. As you'll see, I do like green shinies. People don't like green shinies. People love to dick on green shinies. I like green shinies. I think they're fine. I do think Nidoran. Nidorino does not look good. Nidoran is interesting. Maybe it also goes less Pog. And then Nido King. It's going to be a big jump here as well. I feel like Nido King is Poggers. Nido King's Poggers for sure. Just an incredible blue. An incredible, you know, come on. The bright, beautiful blue. Clefairy. Now, Shiny Clefairy, Jigglypuff has the same effect for me personally. Shiny Clefairy is one of those Pokemon that I talked about earlier where I didn't like it at first for a really long time, and I've really come around to it. Shiny Clefairy is one that's really grown on me. Those sort of simple, small effect shinies like Clefairy, like Jigglypuff with the eyes, they've really grown on me. And I think I've become a lot more interested in them, and I think they have their place, and they're more impactful on me now, I feel like. Let's go ahead and take Clefairy to Poggish and Clefable to... I think they're both same tier. They're both same tier. I think Poggish. I think that's fair. These would have been like less Pog to Dan's game if you asked me to go. I'm gonna get some hate for this one. Vulpix is less Pog. I'm not a fan. Ninetales is undeniably decent, but even then, it's not really a shiny that I'm super interested in. It's gonna go to Poggish for me. I just don't like the design of the Pokemon in general, and I think that hurts. That hurts the shiny more than the coloring itself. The Ninetales coloring is really nice. If we're just arguing coloring, I could see it going up to like this or even this. But if we're arguing total design, I think Poggish is where it should stand. Jigglypuff, we just talked about. I have really come to like Jigglypuff, or at least respect it. Very much same tier as Clefairy. A simple, small change like that can really impact its personality and give a little difference, which I enjoy. Wigglytuff is still worse to me. Maybe it should be same tier. Maybe like bottom Poggish tier. Maybe less Pog. We'll do less Pog for. I don't know why. Jigglypuff I enjoy more. Wigglytuff. It has the almost bigger green eyes, though. We'll keep it there. That's fine. This could go down, though. This is kind of in between less Pog and Poggish. We got a lot of Pokemon to get through. Let's go ahead and speed things up. Zubat. Zubat was one of the most common shinies in PokeMMO in the early years. And now it's a lot less common because, you know, the game isn't just Fire Red. So you see a lot of other Pokemon being encountered all over different regions and everything. Let me go ahead... This is actually a tough one. I feel like this is less Pog for me. And I feel like Golbat is Poggish. Yeah, I think that's my take. That's a really tough one, though. It's a really tough one. Oddish. This is going to blow a lot of people's minds. I'm a huge Oddish fan. I think Oddish is a really cool Pokemon. I feel like this sounds like satire. I really like Shiny Oddish. I strolled. There we go. I'm a huge fan of Shiny Oddish. Shiny Oddish is really, really good in my opinion. Has Pogging not been visible the whole time? Well, dude, I'm not a good video maker. Anyways, let's go ahead and carry on. I wonder if I can actually adjust this in live time. Whatever. We're 9 minutes in. If you're still here, you're probably still watching. If this is the reason you leave, then I mean I deserve that. But let's go ahead and there we go. Fix this. Fit to screen. Okay, I mean, that's good enough. We'll take it. Okay, carrying on. Gloom, however, unbelievably bad shiny. Even Vileplume. There are some people that like Vileplume. Dude, I can't get to it. I don't like Vileplume. Vileplume is a bad shiny in my opinion. I don't like it. It just looks washed out. It looks gross to me. It looks bad. I'm not a Vileplume supporter in terms of its shiny. It's a really interesting Pokemon. I loved using it in competitive for a really long time. Hidden Power Ice, Hidden Power Ground, Chlorophyll, like NU back in the day, 3rd generation. Vileplume competitive was super interesting and fun. Let's keep going. We got Paris. Paris underrated. I'm gonna put it in Poggish. Parasect is terrible though. What a jump. It's crazy how some of these just like really jump on evolutions. Okay, we got Venonat and Venomoth. It's gonna be tough. Venonat's an interesting one. I feel like Venonat and Venomoth are both Poggish. I think Poggish is fair. On these. Diglett and Dugtrio. Now we're talking though. These are some good shinies. I think they've both got to be same tier. You could almost... Is Diglett on the same tier as Charizard though? Am I just baiting for comments at this point? I mean, these are my genuine tastes. But I know that I constantly get flamed for my taste in pretty much every area of media. Yeah, we'll go for it. I think I slightly prefer the Diglett, the simplicity of Diglett over Dugtrio, even though obviously they're very, very similar guys. Let's go ahead and keep going. Meowth. Meowth's a fine shiny. Use it for utility, the pink accents. Persian, one of the worst shinies in the game. Psyduck. Really good shiny. Psyduck is Metapod Poggers tier. Psyduck is a really good shiny. Golduck. Does it really belong here? I feel like it almost... I've been coming a little more around to Golduck. I'll put it in less Pog. You could even argue that it belongs. I guess as the tier list expands, I see what's happening. As the tier list expands, we're going to have this issue. That's why. Okay, so I set it up okay. I'm not the worst. Not the worst YouTuber in the world quite yet. We'll go ahead and bring it down a couple layers then and just prepare for the future. Fit to stream. Well, that's not going to work. Okay. Anyways, we're going to continue on. We're going to push through it, okay? We're going to... Fuck it, we'll do it live. I'm going to try to do it live. I'm going to try to see what I can do here. Sorry, guys. Here, let me just continue on. Okay. What do we got? Mankey. I'll just scroll up and down. That's what people love to see, right? Scrolling. That'll be really, really enjoyable content. Mankey and Primeape. Dude, Mankey and Primeape, I think, are both Dan's game. This is kind of a spicy memer. I think some people like Mankey. Dude, I can't. It's not really a Pokemon for me. I don't really enjoy it. I just don't like it. Yeah, not a huge fan of Mankey or Primeape. I think they both... I've come to appreciate Primeape more as a Pokemon in general. Like, as a competitive threat. I mean, it's not really a competitive threat, right? But it's fun, and I wish it was more of a competitive threat. It's a cool Pokemon. It's a very, very, very cool Pokemon. What if I stretch this? How would this look? Gross. Absolutely gross. Is that gonna make it wider? Okay, let's do this. PokeMMO in the background over here. Me, like, AFK in game. That's making it wider, making it worse. Let's get rid of the poop emoji. Content Pog. I should have done this on live stream. This would have been I mean, a good meme. Okay. Is this gonna make it worse? Is this gonna make it wider? Yeah, essentially. Oh my god, this looks terrible. What happened to this? Why does it look so bad? Anyways, continuing on, we've got Growl. I feel like I need to fix this. Alright, after that incredibly edited cut, I'm going to go ahead and continue here. You'll have my little PokeMMO thing, my little AFK screen down here. I don't know. We're going to roll with it, okay? We're going to continue the tier list. We're at Growlithe/Arcanine. I want you guys to be able to see that layer below so you guys can see what Pokemon are coming up. Growlithe and Arcanine, once again, going to get a lot of hate here. I'm not a huge fan of these, like, typical dog-like Pokemon. I know a lot of people like them. I'm going to put, I think, both of them in less Pog. It's kind of brutal. They look better than I remember in this sprite form. I could see Arcanine being in Poggish. In the same tier as... Ooh, Ninetales? I don't even know if I... No, I can't do it. I think they're less Pog to me, which I think is brutal. Poliwag. Poliwag is a terrible shiny. But it evolves into Poliwhirl, which is a very underrated shiny. Is it up here or is it down here? Poliwhirl is either Pog or Poggish. I'm a huge fan of Poliwhirl. Super underrated. Really great blue color. Wow, that's tough. I think I'm going to go Pog on it, but I could see that getting bumped down to Pogish. We'll keep it there for now. It's a super underrated one. In-game, it looks even better as well. In-game, it looks like especially good. Poliwrath, I'm not a fan of. It's going to be less Pog. Abra, I mean, who likes shiny Abra itself versus like Kadabra or Alakazam? It's just not a great shiny in my opinion. But now we do work our way towards Alakazam, and I will say Alakazam's a great shiny. Who doesn't love Alakazam, right? Alakazam's a great shiny. I think that'll be Pogish. Nothing crazy, but a great shiny. Kadabra is going to be down here, even maybe down here. Yeah, I think Dan's game. Machop as well. Not a fan of shiny Machop at all. That's a Dan's game for me. Machoke and Machamp are also going to be pretty low. I think Machoke ends up being the highest out of these. Or maybe they're both just less Pog. I'm not a fan of these type of green shinies personally. Bellsprout is going to be Dan's game. We're running into a lot of Dan's game territory actually here, which is kind of surprising. Weepin' Bell is going to be Dan's game. Victory Bell is going to be Pogish. So a big jump there. Tentacool and Tentacruel are some of the hardest shinies to judge in the entire game. They're very good looking shinies and have very good coloring to them. However, due to their popularity, they're so oversaturated and you kind of get sick of seeing them, and that really impacts your enjoyment of something, right? Your enjoyment of a shiny. So these are actually some of the toughest ones to judge, I feel like, overall, because of that bias. I'm going to throw them both in Pogish. I think they're the perfect middle ground shiny. I think that's the best way to think about them. Geodude is actually going to go up to Pog. And then Graveler is underrated. I like Graveler. We're going to put that in Pogish. And then Golem is going to be in, I think, Dan's game, unfortunately. I'm not a huge fan of shiny Golem at all. But Graveler and Geodude are pretty bomb. Once again, some pretty big gaps between those evolutions. Ponyta is going to go to Pog, I think. And then Rapidash is going to go to Pogish. Once again, shinies that are hurt by how common they are in the game and how often you see them just running around the overworld and everything. Everybody has shiny Rapidash. Everybody. A lot of people have shiny Rapidash and Ponyta. Let's keep going. Slowpoke, one of the worst shinies in all of Pokemon. Dan's game. Slowbro, one of the best shinies in all of Pokemon. I think Pogger's tier. Yeah, it's definitely on the same tier as Psyduck. Yeah, Slowbro's Pogger's tier for sure. Magnemite and Magneton. This is sort of a preference thing. I'm not really a huge fan of them. I could see someone enjoying them. Farfetch'd and kind of an underrated shiny. I think I'm going to go less Pog for now, though. Doduo and Dodrio. I feel like I'm coming around to appreciating these shinies a little more. But still, they're Doduo and Dodrio. Kind of rough. I think hilariously enough, Doduo goes to Pogish, and I think Dodrio goes to less Pog. For whatever reason. I think Doduo has grown on me a little bit. I've seen it a little bit more in some certain single encounters. I don't have one personally, but I see people getting it and stuff. And honestly, I think it's an interesting Pokemon. It's kind of growing on me a little bit. Moving on to Seal and Dugong. I could almost create a new tier for these. I mean, they're the worst shinies. They're the worst shinies. Seal and Dugong, specifically Dugong and Persian, are probably the two worst shinies in all of Pokemon. If either of these two Pokemon are your favorite shinies, I'm happy for you. We need someone to fight for them, but the whole world's against them, okay? So, best of luck. I wish you luck in that journey. Now, we're getting to some really good shinies here, though. We are moving forward. Grimer is going to be Pog tier for me. I think Grimer and Muck. So, for a while, I actually heavily preferred Grimer to Muck. Had a cooler in-game sprite, you know, a little simpler, a little more chick. I ended up evolving. I have two shiny Mucks in game, or one Muck, one Grimer, one competitive shiny Muck, and then a Grimer. I caught two. What happened was I ended up evolving my Muck, and man, it grew on me so fast. I evolved one of my Grimers into a Muck, and it grew on me so fast. But before that, I really, really liked Muck. I'm about to do something a little crazy. I think that Shelder is quickly becoming one of my favorite shinies in the game. I think shiny Shelder gets up to Pog. I am Pogging tier. I think this Pokemon is quickly becoming one of my favorite shinies in the entire game, and I think for good reason. Once again, very unique, incredible fucking Pokemon. I could almost even see Metapod being up here as well, for me personally. Maybe I'll have to reevaluate. I love orange shinies that have that dark, unique orange. Okay, I definitely didn't realize how much of a logistical nightmare this list was going to be to show. This thing's getting very full. There's a lot of Pokemon, way more Pokemon than I guess I expected. But I'm going to continue on. We're going to put Metapod up here, I think, in the I'm pogging tier for the time being. Maybe it'll get moved down, I'm not sure. But these are like incredible. Maybe it's so close. It's so close for me. I'll keep it down here for now. We'll reevaluate later on. But for now, let's go ahead and carry on. We have Cloyster to talk about. Cloyster is a good shiny. Probably say it's Pog tier. I almost don't know. It's really close. I think it's a great shiny, but it's not like something I'm super interested in, I feel like. I mean, I would just always go Shelter, but if I evaluate it like separately, I mean, it's a great shiny. It's a good blue. Alright, as this video becomes more and more of a logistical nightmare, I want to quickly say, remember to like the video if you're enjoying this train wreck, and subscribe for more S tier, high quality pieces of content like this. I super appreciate it if you guys are watching and spending your time with me here today. Let's go ahead and keep going. We have Ghastly to talk about. I'm not a huge fan of ghost type Pokemon in general, or ghost or dark type Pokemon, but Ghastly is pretty odd, I'd say. I think Ghastly's pretty pog. I think Haunter is honestly underrated as well because of the ton. Gengar is going to get the Dan's game. Now, obviously, if Mega Gengar was in this game, I mean, Giga S tier, the white on Mega Gengar is gorgeous. But Gengar itself, I feel bad for the Gengar fans. You guys get shafted with one of the worst shinies in Gen 1, right? Alrighty, next up we have Onyx to talk about, which is not a great shiny in my opinion. I think it definitely goes in the less pog tier pretty easily. But then we do have Drowsy and Hypno to talk about, which I feel like are pretty underrated Pokemon and underrated shinies in general. Hypno is definitely going to find itself at a higher rank than Drowsy since it has a little more darker of a coloring. I think I'm going to put Drowsy in... I could even see Drowsy being in less pog. If Haunter's here, no, Drowsy's poggish. Drowsy's poggish. Drowsy being in the same tier as Ivysaur and Charmeleon is kind of funny, but you know what? I mean, I think that's accurate, at least to me. Now Hypno is going to be more in the pog tier, maybe even not quite poggers, I think, but pog tier I think is going to be good enough. All right, Krabby and Kingler, not great shinies in my opinion as well. I think both of those. I think they go less pog. You could even argue for something like Kingler to go into like Dan's game. I mean, I could see it. Voltorb and Electrode next. Alright, the list is truly extending. I think what I'm going to have to do is split this list up based on generation. So I'm going to do all of the Generation 1 shinies right now. We'll finish this, and then we'll do a second video on Gen 2, another video on Gen 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. Let's go ahead and finish the Gen 1 Pokemon, though. Hopefully, we'll be able to see our Shuckle on the PokeMMO screen on that side. Once it's complete, I feel like it's already peeking out. So let's go ahead and continue. Shiny Voltorb and Electrode are pretty good in my opinion. Nothing super crazy or special. I think Voltorb especially is going to end up, maybe they both just end up in pog tier. I like them. They're decent. I don't know if I'd ever hunt for them specifically in PokeMMO, but if I were to get one randomly, they're a great shiny to get randomly. I feel like you'd be pretty happy with, although as long as you have a damp Pokemon or a Master Ball on you, they're definitely a pretty easy Pokemon to lose to Explosion and or Self-Destruct. Now, Shiny Execute. Super underrated shiny in my opinion. Executor, not so much. I feel like I'm not nearly as a fan of Executor. I think Executor is actually going to be less pog, but Execute is going to be pog. We then have Cubone, Marowak. Cubone and Marowak. I love Sandslash, which is on a similar vein. I'm going to go Cubone because you found them at the same spot in PokeMMO at least. Cubone's going to be Poggish tier. Marowak is going to be less Pog, I think. Seems kind of brutal, but I think that's definitely my ruling. Hitmonlee is going to be Pog-ish, I think. Arguably less pog. I love green shinies, but we are seeing a lot of the worser green shinies. There's a lot of good green shinies. I think people hate green shinies because there are a lot of bad green shinies. There are also a lot of good green shinies, okay? So look out for them. I'll put Hitmonlee in Poggish. Hitmonchan, I think, goes Pog. The little blue gloves. Lickitung, straight up to Poggers, maybe even higher. We'll go Poggers. Coughing and Wheezing as well. straight up to poggers. Fantastic shiny Pokemon, super underrated, really interesting teal sort of color. I'm a huge fan. Underrated. Rhydon holds a little bit of a special place in my heart because it was one of my friend's first shinies. I'll put it in Poggish. Rhydon, though, is Dan's game. Rhydon is Dan's game. I wish I liked him more as a Pokemon into shiny, but he's just not for me, unfortunately. Chansey. I mean, it's hard to put Chansey below Pog, right? Chansey's a great shiny. It's hard to not great shiny. Tangela, super underrated shiny. Pog, if not Poggers here. I think we'll go Pog for now. Kangaskhan, I'm pretty sure is trash. Kangaskhan goes Dan's game. Unfortunately. Kangaskhan could have had a great shiny. I think if Kangaskhan had pink accents, it would have been a much, much better shiny. Alright, there we go. The Shuckle is visible. Let's see how long it takes to get my character actually visible on the screen. It's halfway there, kind of a third way there. Let's continue on. Horsey. Horsey is a pretty great shiny, pretty underrated. I don't like Seadra nearly as much. I can go ahead and confidently put Seadra and less Pog. Horsey, however, I think goes all the way up to Pog, maybe to like Pog-ish. Horsey's a great shiny. It's got a really nice coloring to it. Goldeen and Seeking, I think, are both going to end up in Dan's game, unfortunately. Just not great shinies. Staryu and Starmie. Man, great shinies. Really cool Pokemon. I think I prefer Staryu. I think I definitely prefer the simplicity of Staryu. I like simple shinies. I like simple Pokemon in a lot of ways. I'm going to put Staryu in Pog and Starmie in... Nah, no way Starmie can be in Poggish, right? That's too low. Is it? Starmie cannot be in the same tier as Rhyhorn. I think what I do is I think I lower Rhyhorn. And I lower... Where's Ghastly? Ghastly's up here in Pog. Haunter's here. I lower Rhyhorn, I think. I think that's only fair. Other than that, this tier list looked pretty good, honestly. Yeah, I think that's the play. There's maybe a couple things I'd change here and there, honestly, at the end. But we probably won't clean it up. I think First Instinct is good. Mr. Mime. Great shiny. Mr. Mime is a really good shiny. Definitely going to put that in Pog, I think. Just a really good underrated shiny. Single encounter hunt in PokeMMO. Alright, there we go. My character is pretty much fully visible now. It's crazy how much of a nightmare logistically showing this list is. Sorry about that, guys. We have Scyther. Scyther's Dan's game. Kind of a crazy take. Scyther's Dan's game tier. Jinx. Underrated. Poggish to Pog. We'll go Pog on Jinx. I don't know why. You know what, Jinx? Speaks to me. Electabuzz. Underrated, like an almost orangish shiny. Is it Pog tier or is it Poggish? I feel like it's just barely Poggish, but I could see it. Magmar. Magmar is a beautiful shiny. Magmar is a beautiful shiny. Maybe even higher. Maybe we put it in Pog. Poggers, excuse me. Yeah, I think Magmar actually ends up getting put up to Poggers. I think so. It's a great shiny, dude. It's a really cool one. One that I want to get around to hunting. It's super beloved, but that doesn't make it any less great. I'm going to do a little bit of scrolling now for the rest of this list. Pinsir, I'm a huge fan of. A lot of love for Pinsir. At least Pog, if not Poggers. I think Poggers, man. I've been doing some single encountering for Pinsir, Combee, Sunkern, that sort of location for a while now. Tauros is also unreal. Tauros is Poggers, I think. Tauros is a great shiny. Someone just got a shiny Tauros the other day. That's a fantastic one. Magikarp is also up here. Pog, I think Magikarp's Pog, maybe even higher. I think Magikarp would be like up here. Like, I'm not going to organize them within their tiers, but if I was, Magikarp would be like high Pog tier. Huge fan of Magikarp over Gyarados personally. I think Gyarados ends up being Poggish. Gyarados ends up being Poggish, Magikarp Pog, that's the rating. Lapras is a shiny that I actually super often forget about. But it's definitely going in Pog tier, if not Poggers. I really forget about Lapras. If it wasn't the fact that I forgot about it, it would be up here. It's a great shiny. I love the purple. Purple and orange. Two favorite colors. Shiny Ditto. Shiny Ditto is fantastic because if you have Shiny Ditto, you technically have every shiny in the game. I think definitely Pog tier. Eevee is not for me. I still put it in Poggish. Even though Eevee is like not a huge shiny that I care about or not a huge Pokemon that I care about, it's still like C tier, which I mean, respectable, right? Vaporeon. Don't do the copy pasta. Poggers, my favorite evolution. Okay, just because it's a cool Pokemon. I know, cringe, do the joke, whatever. Jolteon. It's okay. It's on the same level as Eevee. Flareon. It's going to be less Pog. Even Dan's game. I think Flareon's Dan's game. I love Flareon as a Pokemon. Respect to the Flareon enjoyers. I've tried to make it work in NU, and I've tried to make it work in PvP many, many times. Doesn't really work. But respect to the Flareon lovers. Porygon. Underrated. Absolutely, brutally, crucially, pivotally, aggressively, monstrously, demonstrously underrated. Continuing on. Ammonite. Once again, kind of underrated, but we'll put him in Amistar here in Pog tier. Kabuto. Dude, this green on Kabuto I'll never get over it. I'm getting obsessed with Fossilmons. The more I shiny hunt for Cranidos, the more I see the beauty in Fossilmons. Kabutops is slightly lower than Kabuto. I think the green changes a little bit. The green on Kabuto is a little darker. Kabutops is a little lighter. And I think there's like the simplicity once again with Kabuto. I think I really, really enjoy. Aerodactyl, I wish its purple was like darker, I feel like. I think it still gets the Pog tier. Yeah, it still gets the Pog tier. Look at all these Fossilmons. Snorlax, I'm a huge fan of. Even though Snorlax is kind of a simple shiny, it's one of the few that I want to hunt. That's like an egg hunt. I feel like it's got to go Poggers tier. Now we're down to the legendary birds. The legendary birds are tough for me because obviously you can't get those in PokeMMO, so these are kind of like a shot in the dark. Like Articuno, less Pog, just off like first glance. Zapdos, less Pog, and then Moltres is going to be the best. I mean, shiny, right? Probably up here in Pog. But the legendary birds, once again, legendaries aren't really something I'm used to rating or used to seeing, so you can almost kind of ignore those. Dratini and Dragonair. I mean, they're incredible shinies. Probably higher than this. Let's see. I think Dragonair is up here. Dragonair is in Pog I am Pogging. Another Pog I am Pogging. 4 Pokemon within the Pog I am Pogging tier. Dragonair is one of them. Just an incredible shiny. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shiny. Dragonite. A lot of people dick on Dragonite. I think it is 1 tier below Dratini. I think that's fair. I like shiny Dragonite. It's worse than Dratini and Dragonair. I'll be honest, right? We'll say, we'll spit it out, right? But it's still a great shiny in its own right, and I still love Dragonite as a Pokemon. And I still like the purple accents on its wings, making it look very bat-like. I really like, I still think it's great, okay? It's still great. Don't over-hate on it. Then we're left with Mewtwo and Mew, which once again, I'm just not super familiar with. I'm going to put Mewtwo in Poggers. I mean, it's a pretty cool fucking shiny. And then Mew in Pog, I think. And that's going to wrap it up. This is the Gen 1 shiny list for me. Way too many Pokemon to go through. We'll skim through it really quick. Or we can do it like this, nice and slow, like 3 tiers at a time. We've got the Pog I am Pogging tier right here, looking nice. We've got the Poggers tier, led by Charizard, ended by Mewtwo. Right here, some nice coloring of shinies here. We got the Pog tier. It is ending with Mewtwo. Let's scroll down a little. Starting with Carp, ending with Mewtwo. Everything here looks pretty good. I'll make some major changes if I see them, but everything's going to be pretty spot on, I feel like. The Pog-ish tier, this is probably some of the biggest mix of Pokemon, and I feel like this might be the tier that people disagree with me on the most, which I think is fair, and I think I might disagree with myself on it the most. I still agree with it mostly. I know Ivysaur, Venusaur, Charmander in the same tier as a lot of these guys. People seeing Ninetales in the same tier as like Cubone. I don't think people are going to like that, or like Paris. I love Paris, man. Okay. I always wanted a shiny Paris. Okay. It was a cool one that I feel like people hated. But I think it's a decent shiny. Scrolling down, we do have Raticate and everything less Pog tier. Got your Pidgeys, got your Onix, your Zubats, your Pikachus. Some people like Pikachu. It's okay to me. Etc., etc. I think Golduck once again could move down to Dan's game. And then in Dan's game, we do have your Pidgeots, your Glooms, your Parasects, your Mankeys, your Dugongs, terrible, terrible shinies, your Persians, Rhydon, etc., etc. This is my Gen 1 Pokemon shiny tier list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you made it to this point, that's kind of shocking to me, but I appreciate it. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more content like this. Follow me over on Twitch for streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. EST. Discord link is down below if you want more information on my content or just to learn tons of information about the game PokeMMO itself. I really appreciate your time. Once again, have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and if you're watching this, that means you watched until the very end of the video, and I want to say thank you so much for that. Hopefully, it was a positive asset on your day. And I want to say thank you to everyone's name who is listed here. These guys go above and beyond and are positive assets on my day and allow me to do what I do, trying to make the best Pokemon content every day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day. Peace.